The corner. So if you're looking to make this the best camping season ever, get to Jeff Couch's RV Nation this weekend to see the largest inventory and the lowest prices in the tri-state guaranteed. It's the annual RV Nation open house weekend with all of the best deals. This Friday and Saturday at Jeff Couch's RV Nation, just north of Hamilton on Route 127, or shop couchesrvnation.com. Take it from me, the great American. Shop Couch's RV Nation for the lowest prices guaranteed.
News, weather, and traffic for February 22nd, 2018. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
Some are questioning whether more guns in schools make them any safer. With the 3 o'clock report, I'm Jeff Henderson. Breaking now.
Listen to their heartbreaking stories, ask them for their ideas, and pledge to them that we will take action.
President Trump, who has now met with shooting victims and the police and school administrators after 17 were killed in Parkland, Florida. The president has been talking about arming teachers and looking deeper into mental health issues.
One of the things President Trump has focused on since last week's school shooting in Parkland, Florida, is mental health. He's now said several times that he thinks a lack of facilities to handle people who may be a threat to their community is a real problem.
We're going to be talking seriously about opening mental health institutions again.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness is pushing back strongly, saying in a statement that the president's comments, quote, reinforce inaccurate and negative stereotypes and create barriers for improving mental health services. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Some teachers and students in Parkland, Florida do not like the idea of arming teachers. A teen who met with the president yesterday says the issue is guns, not mental illness.
We have people with mental illnesses in our school. They're not coming in with mental illnesses and killing us. They're coming in with guns and killing us.
Student Sam Zeif. Now the latest traffic and weather together.
From the UCL Traffic Center, UCL is providing our Reachua neurosurgery treatment for the most complex brain and spine conditions. Accident-free right now, but a lot of roads that were reopened yesterday late have reclosed, including parts of Kellogg and parts of 32. Looking at no problems as far as the interstates right now. There are accident-free and running smooth. Albert Davis on News Radio 700 WLW.
Now the latest forecast from the Exergen Temporal Scanner Weather Center.
Tonight, showers likely late with storms possible, a low of 45 degrees. Then showers with storms possible during the day on Friday. Friday's high 66. More rain Saturday, a high in the low 60s. We are looking mostly dry for Sunday, though. Partly sunny, a high in the mid-50s. That's the forecast from your severe weather station, News Radio 700 WLW.
Radar is all clear, 46 degrees right now.
This report is brought to you by Point Blank Range Gun Shop.
Shoot Point Blank Range and Firearms Store focuses on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's why people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
ShootPointBlank.com.
The flooding along the Ohio River is expected to get much worse by this weekend. The floodwaters are on the rise, and it is now expected to crest at nearly 60 feet. That's about 8 feet above flood stage early next week. A 13-year-old is facing charges for making threatening calls to Withrow High School. The school was locked down and searched after the calls. Nothing was found. Republicans in Kentucky are pushing for House Bill 252 that would cut unemployment benefits. The measure would tie the length of benefits to the jobless rate. Today, that would mean the maximum coverage would be 16 weeks instead of the current 26 weeks. Turfway Park will see improvements. $25 million will be spent on a new grandstand. It'll include room for machines for betting on historical races. The Cincinnati Reds are going to the Ohio Supreme Court to find a move to pay taxes on giveaways, such as bobbleheads.
The basic rule is this. There's an exception to paying sales tax if you use it for resale.
Mark Steiger with the Harlem CPA Advisory Group says so the issue is when the bobbleheads are given away by the team, it is built into the ticket price. But the state tax commissioner says that is not the case.
So what the Reds are saying is we don't have to pay sales tax because we're going to resell this as part of our ticket package. And they're saying, hey, when you buy the ticket, a portion of that is actually you're buying the bobblehead.
The case will now go before the Ohio Supreme Court. Allison Wyatt, News Radio 700 WLW.
He was a local children's favorite in the 60s. There's a report that Larry Smith is dead. Smith created the characters Hattie the Witch and Starfy our dog for a children's TV show.
My name is Starfy. Starfy our dog.
Smith was 79 years old. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 189 points. NASDAQ is off 10. And the S&P has picked up 3. News is a service of Fear, Buick, GMC, and Claremont County Cancer Center.
News Radio 700 WLW. Sports.
In college basketball action tonight as UConn up against number 11 Cincinnati in American Athletic Conference play at BB&T Arena. Bearcats coverage begins at 6:35 right here on News Radio 700 WLW. Also tonight, 9th rated Purdue faces Illinois. Semifinals of the President's Athletic Conference tourney. It'll be Thomas More up against Geneva. News Radio 700 WLW Reds update. The Reds open their Cactus League baseball schedule tomorrow against the Indians. Coverage at 2:35 with the Energy Pellets of America inside pitch right here on News Radio 700 WLW. Bill Dennison, News Radio 700 WLW Sports.
Our next update at 3:30. I'm Jeff Henderson. News Radio 700 WLW. Since we're off tomorrow for Reds baseball, we're moving the Friday show to today, so it's Thursday.
That's quite the same ring,
does it? No. So that means that at this hour, we talk to this fellow right here from Channel 9 Thunder. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, boys?
That's good.
Everybody's together again.
We're all together again. I was, this morning, Ken, as I was, going through my Twitter and stuff, I saw you were kind of in a little bit of like a Twitter war with someone about sabermetrics,
He was
right?
telling me about this. What were you into?
There's a lot of numbery people out there, and I think you were kind of defending look, there's also the human side of baseball and frankly sports, right?
Right. Well, the whole issue was, if Joey Votto is allegedly one of the greatest players in the game today, where would he fit at all with the Big Red Machine team? In other words, who would he bump off that lineup? And I said, it's Tony Perez. I mean, you just look at WAR, and there's no comparison. The Votto is, heads above what Perez was in WAR. But my contention is, what sabermetrics doesn't take into consideration is just where a player is in that group of 8, how he fits in that batting order, where he hits, and what his job is. I mean, it extracts the human element from the game and just looks at it totally from a statistical standpoint, which on one hand is good because it's really agnostic when you come to evaluating a player. But on the other hand, I don't think it takes into consideration what that player meant to that team at that time. Not to say that, and that just comparing generations is a very difficult thing to do.
And Ken Bruce, our guest, and Ken, exactly, pardon the pun, but that team was a machine. Everybody played an integral part. They were all cogs in the wheel that perfectly matched. And if you extract Perez, who was one of the personalities on the team.
Yeah.
He was one of everybody loved the big dog, man. He was my guy growing up.
Right. Mathematics doesn't create clubhouse atmosphere. It doesn't create camaraderie. Yeah. And, in a lot of ways, if you allow it to, sabermetrics will suck the life out of baseball. But in other ways, it allows you to evaluate players generationally, even though the game changes generationally. So, I mean, there's no right or wrong argument. I think there are people that just go so overboard with that stuff that, they turn baseball into a stratomatic game. And there are people on the other side of it that just get so emotionally attached to a player or to a team or something like that they don't really have an even way of evaluating what a team is all about or a player is all about. So, you wade into that water and it's kind of wading into a lot of arguments where there's no middle ground. It's either or. And so, but I just thought, somebody asked a legitimate question. I said, yeah, I think, if you look at it, first of all, you can't extract any back. You have to extract the bat at the position that Votto plays, and then if you get that a comparison between Votto and Perez, sabermetrically, there's really no comparison. Votto is the better player. So it's all
in a football example, Ken, I think Pro Football Focus, right? What's your PFF grade? Now they got offensive guards can get graded, which is good, but I always, people always say, well, this guy got, Kevin Zeitler got ranked a number 2, so that means he should be, and I'm like, there's a little more to it than that. And I got into an argument with Willie. Of course, he's on the side, he's saying, look, well, PFF is going to, basically eliminate
NFL scouting departments. Because look, all the Pro Football Focus will grade a player, it will spit out the numbers, and what's the need? I'm like, I'll give you one name, Johnny Manziel, right? I mean, statistically and numbers otherwise, in college, the dude killed it. But if you interviewed him, you knew his past, you knew he was cancer in the locker room, right? So there is that human element. But you're right, Ken. It's balance, right? Where, you can look at the numbers, but also you've got to get a feel of a guy, how he's going to fit into that call.
To your point about football, let's say that you're evaluating the guard, okay? And that guard may grade out to be the top-graded guard in pro football that year by Pro Football Focus, either because of his pass protection or his run production. But how do we know if you extract a guard of lesser value to the team and plug that guard in with the best rating, that he'll perform as well as the guard he's replacing? In other words, everybody that plays the offensive line knows the strengths and the weaknesses of the guy they're lined up next to. And let's say that the tackle that guard is lined up next to has a difficult time with his post step, where he gets out and he tries to actually plant that left foot and block, and the guard can make some sort of adjustment because he simply knows that player that he's playing alongside better than if you plug in a guy who just grades out perfectly. I just think that there's never going to be a substitute for the human element in any of this stuff. It's always going to be some sort of part of the equation. But are statistics and grades invaluable? Of course they are. Nobody's saying that. But just don't discount the other stuff.
We're talking to Ken Brew, our own report from Channel 9. And Ken, first day of spring training, first game of spring training tomorrow. Your thoughts on
about that?
What are we looking for, baby?
You're looking for one last half hour, you got to be here.
We're looking for a day.
You're the whole day off, Jeff. We're the whole day off, baby.
Unless it rains in the desert tomorrow.
At 6:01, man, it's getting crazy.
If I was you two, I'd be looking at a 3 o'clock tea time. That's what I'd be looking at.
So, what are we looking for this team? I mean, you know what the moving parts are.
Well, anytime Marty Brenneman opens his mouth, it's warmer, right? Everything just gets warmer. But I don't know. This is a great question. I don't know what this team has to sell other than...
I don't think anybody does, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've got the best player in the history of the franchise, and they've got one of the best hitters in the history of the game. And after that, I don't know what they have. I really don't. And I don't think they know what they have. So I think it's one of those deals where you tee it up, you see what, where it takes you if you stay healthy with your pitching, which they have not been able to do over the last several years. And maybe there's a team that's won 68 the last couple of years. Maybe they can win, 73, 74. It's not going to contend. Only someone that is just a complete, someone that just completely looks at this stuff with rose-colored glasses is going to think this team is going to contend this year or compete for a postseason berth. But I think it's going to be interesting to see player development, and I also think it's going to be interesting just to see this guy, Votto, that, if 24 is in the Hall of Fame, and we've already established the fact that Votto is better WAR, it's going to be great to go out and see him for 162 this year.
Ken, what about Anthony DeSclafani? I mean, first of all, I guess the good news coming into camp right now is they're healthy. Last year we got the bad news about Hunter Bailey early on. DeSclafani, that injury news came early. The only thing I worry about him, though, he did not elect to have the off-season surgery. And I know that dilemma as an athlete. You never want the surgery, but sometimes, is it better to get it done and then, you have some time off and versus you wait, try to rehab, and then you go, okay, maybe I should have had the surgery, but now it's kind of too late. Do you think it'll be interesting to see how his elbow now responds after, missing all of last year?
Well, that's it, and most of the year before. You remember that he was
first half, right?
Yeah, he was with an oblique strain. He was out the first half of the season. Yes, I think that's the linchpin for this rotation. I really do. Hunter Bailey had his right arm reattached, and statistics will tell you that players that go through Tommy John surgery, there's a finite number of innings that they throw when they come back. And I don't mean in a season, I mean in a career. So that is what it is. There's some interesting young pitchers, particularly Luis Castillo. But I think a lot of those prospects are suspects. And frankly, I think they need DeSclafani to provide to them what they haven't had. And that's a pitcher that can eat some innings up. Now, whether or not the surgery or the non-surgery decision in the offseason was the right decision, we'll find out in a hurry. If it wasn't the right decision, it will set this team back even more than what it has. I think there's strength in numbers for the younger pitchers. I just look at what they have, and once they get by Castillo, I don't think they have anybody that's a top of the rotation guy. And I think once you get by Tyler Mahle, I'm not sure they've got anybody that would be a legitimate contender for a second spot in that rotation. So there's just too many question marks there for me to get deep about what's going to happen this season. But I do think individually there'll be some interesting things to watch, and who knows? Maybe if they see enough this year, they'll actually do something in the off season next year to make 2019 a contending season.
That was supposed to be the year, right? I mean,
I think last year.
Well, I get it. I'm just saying. It was like, just wait till 19, man. Babe Ruth's coming back from the grave.
Yeah,
but you brought up Votto, and that one thing I wanted to bring up, Ken, is it good to hear or bad to hear that he's getting frustrated, and even he, Mr. Mellow Canadian guy, sounds like he's getting to the point where he's had about enough.
Well, look, he's 34 years old, right? Joey Votto came up to the majors as an older ball player. He's 34 years old. If you tell a 34-year-old ball player, you know what, things may look good 2 years from now, he's saying to himself, I'm going to be 36, and regardless of the money I'm making, what does that tell me? I've wasted the best years of my career with a team that isn't a contender. So, yeah, I would be frustrated if I was him, too. I mean, money aside, what all these guys want to do is have a chance to play for a ring, and I look at Votto, and other than that 2012 season, they really haven't provided him with the same kind of supporting cast that other players of his talent have had, and I feel for the dude. I really do. I think he's an exceptional talent, and I think if you extract the money from the equation, I wouldn't know why anybody wouldn't sympathize with somebody that can't excel at what he does. Look at us. Look what we try to do. If we couldn't excel at what we did, you're punching a clock. You're putting your time in and you're going home. I don't know anybody that wants to be, that would be satisfied with something like that.
So let me ask you, Ken Brew, what are you doing on this radio? Because you're working, I don't know, Willie is on like some sabbatical now. I don't know what's going on.
He's visiting the Pope over the Vatican.
Rock and I take
pilgrimage to Mecca and all this.
We take 2 days off each, and one of them was President's Day. Willie takes off like, I'm going to take that day off, but that day off.
You think things are bad now. About 15 years ago, they left him in charge of the station.
I remember.
And that was that's like telling the fox, how many eggs do you exactly want in that backpack you have? Well, actually, I have 2 shortened shows this weekend, too, because I lead into Reds baseball on Saturday, and then I lead into UC basketball on Sunday. So, but Saturday, we're going to do a lot of things. First of all, I don't know if you guys saw this, but millennials are not drinking beer like their predecessors, and apparently Generation Z, that's the wine and cheese crowd. So all these craft beers that are out there, you can't go anywhere in this city without seeing some sort of craft beer hall. They may all be in trouble here in about 5 years.
I want to get into that. Right before Super Bowl, you saw that poll where, well, it's not a poll, it's a stat, that Budweiser had fallen out of the top 3 best-selling beers in the state.
What I see a lot of millennials doing, Ken, and I can't understand for the life of me, is that they'll go and drink these, like, $13, $14 craft cocktails, and they don't, they don't have any money, right? They're right out of college and stuff. I was drinking, Bud Light and stuff like that or whatever, but now, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what your take is on that, because I go to bed at night, Rocky, thinking too. I can't wait till tomorrow to hear what my take is on it as well. It's the most exciting thing that happens in my life.
It's like, you mean like us when we make the take up about 2 till 3?
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what happens.
I think it's about priority. I think like young people, I don't think value like property and home ownership as much, but they value like meals and expensive meals and drinks. That's kind of their trip versus back in the day. It's like, I want some land and I want a house, and I'll skimp on the other stuff. I think it's kind of flipped.
Well, what studies will show you is millennials value experience over possessions. That they would much rather, like Willie, go backpacking in the Himalayas as opposed to having a palatial estate in Indian Hill. That's just what all research says. But with regards to beers, it's a trend towards wine. It's a trend away from beer, and I'm just wondering if everywhere you go, you see these craft beer halls. Where are they going to be in 5 years? Because if the beer consumption is down, then obviously those businesses are in trouble. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to get into Sunday. I'm going to get into some college basketball because we're 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday. Xavier looked good last night. Some people still have him as number one. We're going to figure it out with some of the experts whether or not that's true or not. And I'm going to talk baseball too. Just about what we touched about here is like if you're the Reds, what are you selling this year besides Joey Votto? I mean, I know you got you're going to have the fireworks and bobblehead crowd. They'll go down there. They watch anything on the field as long as they got a bobblehead. Which, by the way, is this like the most Cincinnati thing ever? There's going to be a Fiona bobblehead this year.
Yeah.
I mean, is that like the most Cincinnati?
They can put Fiona in left field and make a buck off it. They would do it. And I mostly mean the zoo. They would buck off her for anything.
As I recall, there's been some teams it would have been an upgrade if they had Fiona in left field.
I'd go down the ballpark to see old Fiona and see what kind of gloves she has,
Not much of an arm, but she does have great ball skills.
Where's Bill Beck when you need him? Come on, man. Bring back the old days.
Right. And then there's the Scooter Jeanette bobblehead this year, which is actually Scooter Jeanette on a scooter. So, I mean, the fireworks and bobblehead crowd will be fine. But I mean, other than that, this is, you're now into your 5th season without any sign of contending again. And I'm just wondering, how do you sell that? How do you spin it? So we're going to talk to some folks about that too.
And with that, Ken Brew, we'll let you go. And I just wanted to revisit this, but the way we started, we were kind of laughing when we started interviewing you.
Yeah, well, most people are.
Well, no, I'm because there's a reason this time.
About Jeff the puppet guy or whatever?
No.
What's his name?
Me trying to explain to Rocky who Larry Smith's puppets were.
Oh, yes.
That was before your time in the market, though. Because he had a long career here. But back in the late 60s when 19 first come on the air, he was like their guy.
Yeah. I interned at Channel 9. My first time at a real television station was in the summer of 1973 here at Channel 9. I interned in the promotion department. And I remember him. Yeah, that was a big deal, man. This was an epicenter of local television.
Hell yeah, it was. He was a giant.
Yeah. I saw that he passed today. Well, unfortunately, we all have the same, thing in life. We're all going to leave this earth someday. But he really left his mark. I mean, there are a whole generation of kids who grew up watching him, like Uncle Al.
Hattie the Witch, man. Come on, Rob.
Hattie the Witch. What was the dog's name?
Snarky, our dog.
Right. I remember
Spooky the Ghost. Come on.
Ed, is there a Jeopardy category for this? Because Ed would win. All right.
I know. Hattie the Witch. Who can forget Hattie the Witch?
Batty Hattie from Cincinnati, baby.
Yeah, I think I dated her. It was short-lived. I think it was only a couple of nights out,
Here you go. Brew.
Here we go.
What do we got?
All right. Oh, boy. I love you. Talk to you in a minute.